Okay. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Learn to Defend Cyber. My name is Joseph. Today we're going to be working on TryHackMe's Advent of Cyber Day 17. I've got the machines spinning up in the background, so skip ahead a couple minutes if you're watching on replay, if you want to get right into the meat and potatoes. Let me grab that in full screen. Okay. Alright. It looks like everything is up, so we should be good to start. They didn't require a VM for today, which is nice. But there is still a instance that we had to spin up. And it looks like we've got a little bit of a long one today. But it should be fun, so let's do this. Let's dive in. Alright. Let me pivot over to the browser field. All the way up. Go ahead and click that. Oh, yeah, it's already got that selected. Awesome. Good stuff. Alright, so today we are doing log analysis, personal favorite of mine. An attack now, it seems, on the town CCTV. There's a problem with the logs, but what could it be? An idea put forward of a log format switch, not as expected. The idea of the glitch. So let's go over some of the context and figure out what we're doing today. Marta's going crazy. Someone disconnected the main server from Wareville's network, and nobody knows what happened. As soon as she realized it, she contacted Wareville's top physical security company, WareSecondAware, to let her view the data center CCTV. They forbid it entirely for privacy reasons. Only the camera owner can view the recordings. Not even the WareSecondAware employees themselves are allowed to do it. That's pretty strict, but hey, gotta have privacy, right? Still, they said there was no recording of anybody entering the data center yesterday. So Marta's now wondering what's going on. Their first supposition was that the owner of the cameras must have deleted the recordings from their managing webpage, but the data center camera owner surely can't be the perpetrator. It was no other than Bite, Glitch's dog. So apparently the dog owns the data center's cameras. That's interesting. All right. So Glitch insisted with Marta to leave the ownership of the cameras to Bite precisely to avoid these kinds of happenings. Bite is the ultimate good boy, combines loyalty and sharp instincts to keep any place safe. So Marta calls Glitch and McSkitty, explains what's going on, and Glitch figures out that apparently someone's trying to frame Bite, and he will not let anybody blame his dog. McSkitty is perplexed. Why are the people at WareSecondAware supposing that Bite had deleted the recordings? Shouldn't they have some logs to prove such an accusation? So Marta has the answers. They have the log files that they back up every 6 hours, but they can't search through it. They tried, but when they go and search for some keyword like the data center's camera ID or the action delete, this is what they get. Yeah, and it looks like we've got some logs here that don't really seem that useful. McSkitty shakes her head. They must immediately send the log file to the SOC team armed with a SIM. We've talked about SIMs a couple times through this challenge, through the Advent of Cyber. Security Information Event Manager. It's just think of it as a log aggregator, so somewhere that you would be able to send logs to, and a log parser so that you would be able to go through the logs, search them for specific information, and figure out what's going on during an event. What's going on, Brendan, Maverick, and Tyler? What's going on? Oh, Tyler did the walk room for today. I did not know that. That means he gets to watch me stumble through knowing everything that's supposed to happen. Alright, so we got it up already. Let's go ahead and get in there. We're gonna be using Splunk today. Ooh, fancy. Splunk Enterprise, no less. I already copied this over. Yes. We'll open up Firefox and get on over there. So what do we got? We'll start by checking the index to show all ingested logs. That's this right here, that asterisk is a pretty common wildcard. You may find variations in certain platforms where it's a different thing for wildcard, but almost everywhere asterisk is a wildcard. Sometimes it's a dot asterisk. It depends on what's going on. So we'll paste that in. And I'll full screen this for everybody to be able to see what's going on. Okay, so this is just giving us some instructions on what to look for. We want to look for the CCTV logs, it seems. I don't want to read too far ahead and spoil myself. Come on. There you go. Alright. It's thinking about it. Alright, so first thing we're going to do is click on search and reporting. I already did that. I forgot to say what I was doing. But click on search and reporting because that is where we would actually be able to look through those logs that they've uploaded to our Splunk instance and make sure my big head's not covering all of this. Or yeah, no, we're good. I can probably... I don't know how they're going to want me to do this over this, but let's try. Okay, perfect. We can make it a little bit bigger, just make it a little bit easier to read. So, first thing we do is hit index equals wildcard. And we can see all of our logs. This is everything. This is all the logs that we have ingested. We have source type 1, just web logs. I should have CCTV logs as well. Oh, you know, I do not have all time selected. Let me fix that. Last 24 hours needs to be all time. Hit that magnifying glass to run the search. Now we have two source types. We have that CCTV custom logs.logs. So we can we'll go to source type and we can click on CCTV logs. Now you can type this in as well, by the way. So source type equals CCTV logs. Clicking on it does essentially the same thing that typing it in would do. It's just whether or not you type it in is the only difference. Let's go to the bottom here, by the way, and make sure there's no flags we need to pay attention to as we're going through this. Extract all events from the CCTV feed logs. How many logs were captured associated with the successful login? So it looks like we're looking for successful logins. What is the session ID associated with the attacker who deleted the recording? Okay. What is the name of the attacker found in logs, and who deleted the CCTV footage? And then of course the two autocompletes where they tell you, hey, we well, this one seems like some side quest shenanigan. This one is where they go and recommend rooms to follow up on this. This is a lot of pictures. All right. Buckle up, people. We're diving in here. All right. So it looks like we need to create custom fields because, you know, earlier we went and looked at the logs and we saw that it was just a bunch of nonsense, and we can kind of see that here too. We can expand one of these. None of our fields really do anything, right? Even if we had these fields up, like host, source type, sure, but we don't have any of our fields over here that show us like the date and time, the actions going on. I mean, even if I look at these additional fields, none of this is useful for what we can do or what we need to do. So let's go ahead and break down what we're looking at. They've given us these logs, and it's custom fields that we're gonna have to end up making, it seems. You have the date, the time, What action happened? For instance, log out, watch camera, download recording, login successful. That'll be interesting. So for anybody who's tried making custom fields in Splunk or even Elk, or I'm sure other sims that I have not used, I really need to use Waza. I hear good things about it, but I'm not sure. I haven't used it quite yet. But anytime you do like the Fisher-Price field customization, anytime you have things that are not like consistent white space, consistent capitalization doesn't really matter, but it's the consistent white space that really screws with what's going on, because like I'm gonna end up I'll show you. All right. Better off showing than explaining. We'll do a custom field. And what's going to end up happening is that because this is one word or everything else is like one word and then this is two words, it's going to like kind of overflow everything. We have what looks to be our user ID, username, and then a session ID. So session ID is just a way that web applications can identify you. User IDs are usually tied to your username, where session IDs are more temporal, assigned when you connect, etc., etc. So let's understand what's going on, why things are not happening the way they should be. The logs are not being parsed properly by Splunk, more than likely because of the format they're in, and Splunk does not consider the actual time limit event. It's only using ingestion time. So yeah, we're gonna have to manually parse out that time that's in the log. Okay, so we gotta fix this. We gotta click on extract new fields, which is down here on this little plus button. And we're gonna go ahead and hit all time. Preset should be under presets. Yep, okay, all time. And we can see all of our different logs down here. Now, if we were to not do this the plug and play method, so to speak, we would hit this button right here that says I prefer to write the regular expression myself. Regular expression is a way of filtering down and basically selecting data from fields. I'm sure we will probably talk about it a little bit more, but it is a phenomenal tool no matter what asset you are doing. If you are a blue teamer, a red teamer, a web developer, software developer, IT in general, just being able to use regular expression to grab specific values and data is great. You can use regular expression in coding to stop some of the attacks we've even performed throughout this week, like SQL attacks. I mean, you could use regular expression to grab information and leave out specific specific symbols or specific words even. There's quite a few uses for regular expression. I'm failing to remember his name right now. It's Joff. Joff over at Anti-Siphon Black Hills. He has a class on regular expression that is pretty solid. I have not taken it myself, but I have many other people who have told me that it's pretty good. So, let's do this the easy way. Let's click on one of these logs, and if things were consistent, this would work for us, right? We got our log. We can go ahead and hit next. We selected our source type of the CCTV logs. We have the time range, and we have selected an example log. Let's hit next. Now that we're here, we can choose between delimiters, which you can see right here. They say is better with CSVs or regular expression. We're going to go ahead and use regular expression. Let me double check the room to see if I'm going the right direction or if I'm just talking nonsense. Yeah, okay, they want us to use regular expression because this is not a comma separated value. And then we're going to go ahead and select the fields. We'll hit next up here at the top, and we'll select relevant fields and name them, right? So we have right here This is our timestamp, so we'll name it as such, timestamp. Add it. We have, oh, I'm gonna have to reselect that. We have the action performed. We'll just name it action. Make sure I got that right, that is a user ID. Yes, that is a user ID. Add it. Make sure to click add every time. Alright. We will call this user ID. I like underscores. I said I like underscores. Thank you. Hit add extraction. We have our username. I prefer camel case if I'm going to do one word, and underscores if I'm going to do multiple. So hit add extraction. And then go ahead with our last field here of session ID. Add extraction. And that's it, right? We're done. We got it. Kind of. You can see it did fail down here. I thought this was going to happen. It does fail down here because of this being 2 words instead of 1. We'll go ahead and roll with it for now and see what happens. Make sure this is what they want us to do. Yep, we're good. We can just hit next, it looks like. Yep. Go ahead and hit next. It's going to validate it. Make sure that this works. That usually takes a couple seconds, but we can probably skip right past this part, honestly. We see a green tick next to all of the sample logs that indicate correct extraction of the fields and a red cross near anything incorrect. Yep, we can see that we have a few of these logs that are just not going to parse correctly, but we'll move forward. And we can call it whatever we want. But we'll just keep the default name. Hit finish. And hit explore the fields I just created in search. We got a funky... I don't know why this is here. We'll go ahead and delete that. Go back down to our index equals wildcard and source type CCTV logs. Maybe I don't need that index at all anymore. Do what now? Oh. I did it again, see? Make sure to pay attention to that all time. Did it again. Alright. Now we have over here, you can see that we have those fields that we made ourselves. You can tell because I capitalized them. We can add them by just hitting yes. Adds it to our top over here. If I could scroll over a bit, that would be nice. It's not letting me for whatever reason. I don't know why it's not letting me. Give me one moment, sorry. Should be selected. I should be able to throw this on the top bar here so we can see it a little bit easier. Format visualization. Oops, didn't mean to do that. I'm not positive why it's not letting me throw it on top. The best use for regular... I'm going over here to chat real quick. Tyler says the best use for regex is to frustrate me every time I have to use it. This room is a little silly. You do it the wrong way first, then you have to go back and fix it. Okay, that makes sense. Also, just hitting everybody in the core with the best use of regex is to frustrate people first. Yeah, no. AI is a great friend for regex, by the way. I usually tout don't use regex, or don't use AI if you can help it. I mean, definitely use it for inspiration. But regex, man, just get it with AI. Okay. I want to parse these a little bit, but it's not letting me add filters to the top. I'm forgetting how to do it in Splunk. I'm so used to Elk. Give me one moment. I'm gonna look this up. Trying to add those additional fields into what we're seeing, and I'm forgetting how to do it, and it's kind of annoying me. Wait until you see the regex you end up using. I gotta sign the room, saw the regex, and regretted my decision, but in my video I slowed down and broke down the entire regex. Oh, that's awesome. The regex is in the room, thank God. You can copy and paste, but the room doesn't explain at all why it works. Okay. So, Tyler with a little bit of insider knowledge. Do either of y'all know? There's a couple people in here. Either of y'all remember how to grab these fields over here? Because I know in Elk, you just hit, like, there's like a plus button. There's literally a plus button, just throws it up here. And I'm forgetting how to do it in Splunk. Change the format timeline to table. Oh, yes. That makes sense. Format under list to table. Yes, that's correct. That makes so much sense. Okay, thank you. I don't know why I forgot how to do that. I just don't use Splunk very often. Alright, we can zoom back in. I should... Looks like... Okay, so we can take some of these out, actually. Go to our fields here. We don't need the host. We don't need the source. We don't need the old timestamp. We don't need the old source type. I don't know recording ID is. I'll have to look at that field real quick. Add session ID and add user ID. Because these are all the fields that we have, and we can organize them if we wanted to. I think we can just go drag them around over here. Yeah, we can. So I like to have, do we need the time? No, because that's just the time that it was ingested. Can I get rid of that, or does that have to stay? Does not look like I can get rid of it. Okay, whatever. So we'll have the timestamp of the log right here. Username, let's go ahead and put action over here. I did not want to put it all the way to the left. I don't know why I did that. Come on. No? Am I gonna do that? Okay, timestamp. Your username. I'm just grabbing that little hashed part, by the way, and dragging it around. Recording ID does not seem very useful, so I'm just gonna go ahead and get rid of it for now. If I need it, I can always get it back. We have our user ID, which I will put after username. Then our action and our session ID. So that's much easier to look at. Much easier. Okay. And this is where we could kind of start to dig into some things, but if you can see... Oh, recording ID is a different value here, it seems. Recording ID is when we actually start interacting with the CCTV recording, so we will probably need that field later. Thank y'all. Thanks, Tyler. Really, thank you, Brent B and Tyler, for holding my hand through Splunk. Something I don't use nearly enough. I use more Elk than anything. But But there are some great Splunk rooms in TryHackMe. I did a couple of them way back when I was first starting to learn blue teaming. I will probably revisit them and make some great videos for the channel. So, alright. So, what do they want us to do now that we have broken fields happening here with the recording ID and some other stuff spilling into... I think we even have some, like, actions happening. I mean, there's just a bunch of nonsense here. So, Tyler said it. He is the one who did the walkthrough on the room. He is in the stream right now. He said that we're going to end up remaking these with regular expression. So that's pretty cool. We can actually explore the fields a little bit at least and see that we have some users. We have Byte doing a lot of stuff. Software, glitch, Marta, and malware. Quite a few users. If we go to the session ID field, it looks like that apparently they're calling that out as having the most errors. Yep, definitely looks like it. We can improve the field extraction. Okay. It's kind of explaining what I explained earlier, where we have some inconsistencies in the logs, and that's why it's treating the logs the way it's doing, or the way that it is, sorry. So let's go ahead and go to settings and fields. We'll scroll up here, settings, and then fields right here under knowledge. Click that. We can go to field extractions, just click on it. And then we have the one that we made that we can go ahead and delete. That looks like the one that we made right there. We'll go ahead and get rid of it. I don't know why it's not letting me. It's like hidden over here. It doesn't have a little scroll for me to go ahead and scroll the web page, but that's fine. Just hit the delete button and we can do a new field extraction. Okay, destination app is search. We'll do the name of new test extraction for CCTV. Always want to name your stuff so you know what you're looking at later. Pro tip, take it from somebody who has named enough things and forgotten what they are because he was trying to be cheeky. Tyler says that the fix-it room is a good one and it's similar to this task. Okay, and he has a video on that, so check it out. And I'm sure I'll have a video on that, and check that out when that happens. Yes, but a little insider pro tip, name things so that you understand what they are when you have to go back. Source is going to be that CCTV. I have to grab its exact name. It probably has it here for us. I think I'm doing this the hard way. They want me to do it a different way. Oh boy. Alright, back up a step. Open field extractor. We're gonna do it through like the wizard way, where we kind of do it the easier way and not like the full. Alright, source type, select the source type. Oh, I think we gotta go to source specifically. Source type CCTV logs. There they are. Time range all time. I prefer to write the regular expression myself. So if you remember last time, we just clicked on one of these and we went next, 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 and did everything that we did. Now we're going to actually hit this and say, I prefer to write it myself. And apparently, we don't have to write it ourselves. Thank you. Thank you so much. Not that it's hard, but man, would it be time consuming to sit here and watch me have to write all of this regex. Now, I'm not the best with regular expressions, but we can kind of break down what's going on here. So if you look at one of our logs, that's the best way to reference this. Let's see if I can find one just in a screenshot here. If you look at one of our logs, okay, that works. You can see that we have data followed by a dash, followed by data, followed by a dash, followed by data, with a white space. Alright, so when you're doing regular expression, you do have to even account for white space sometimes. There's different ways to handle white space. But if you go down here and look at the regular expression, I scrolled right past it. You have data, followed by a white space, followed by data, followed by a data followed by a dash, followed by data, followed by a dash, data, S plus, that's that white space. Then you have more data with a colon, because it's handling a time, with more data, followed by a colon, with more data. Then we got more white space. Now we're going to look at the event field. Alright, and we have that login. Yeah, so it's if we have login with white space, with WW, which I think is just words, so that accounts for any kind of words. Then we have white space, user ID. This is a new field with data. I don't remember what the question marks means. I think that means that they're optional. It just accounts for any. Ooh, what's going on, Jose? I don't remember what the so the user ID is grabbing data, and then it has more white space. Then it grabs username, which adds the word and the white space, and then it just grabs anything. So that's this dot star. Grabs anything and breaks that up. So anything after the username will be still just put in with the username. And then we have the session ID with the W+, which is just words. And then you can select preview. Because they gave it to us, I don't have to type it all out, thankfully. Go ahead and hit save. I didn't even preview it. Whoops. Hit preview first. I'm gonna try and hit preview. Why did it not let me hit preview? Is it because I forgot something? No, it doesn't look like it. Why can I not preview? Oh, here we go. I don't know why that wasn't. Now it works. Okay. And you can see here that it's working much better. We do still have a few fields here, a few values that are unaccounted for, but you can see that we do account for them with that regular expression, and we can hit save and go ahead and keep it as it is. Hit finish and go explore the fields I created in search. Jose says it's cold outside. It's actually a little warm where I'm at. We'll go ahead and get rid of this or nonsense. Make sure to go to all time and hit the search button so it parses through. And we can go back to our fields over here and start selecting our fields again. Add that event. What else do we have? User ID. And then we'll keep it like that. Throw user ID over here. And then event right here. No, I wanted that right there. Thank you. Oh my gosh, never works. Never works right the first time. I think this is the wrong time field. I need the timestamp field that we made in that regular expression. And go ahead and get that added as well. Throw it all the way to the back. User ID, event, session ID. All right, that looks solid to me. So now we got it saved. We already went. We can go ahead and actually dig into investigating what's going on. We fixed it. We got the data. Everything looks good to me. Let's use the following query to search and see the count of events by each user. So we're going to talk about visualization a little bit. It just makes it, visualization basically does exactly what it sounds like. It takes the data that is in your logs and gives it to you in some visualized form, like a pie chart or a bar graph or some other form of visualization. We can click on visualization, which is up here, and go ahead and change out that command first. Okay. Hit visualization. You can change it from a bar chart to a pie chart. That's where they wanted us to be. We can see a breakdown of what username is doing the most. And now we can do the same thing, but look at the events. So remember, we have that events field. We have a very, very minute amount of numbers of delete recording actions, and 2 in fact. I'm gonna jump over here, probably ahead of where they want us to be. There's no timestamp, but we can see that Byte deleted the recordings. And there's the session ID involved with that. Let's take a step back and see where they wanted us to go next. And we can go back to the bar chart. I kind of already looked at this. We have rare events, so it sorts it from most common to least common events. Bunch of extra white space that we don't need. Throw it in search, and we'll go over to the bar chart. You can see that delete recording right here is our rarest, followed by login failed, also rare, and I have an assumption that our little bitey byte had some failed logins. Yep. All from the, oh, it's not just Byte. It's Byte, it's Marta, it's Glitch. All from the same session ID. So that's a good little forensic artifact right there. We have a few attempts to delete the recording and a few failed login attempts. This means we have a clue. Now let's look at the failed login attempts first. We will go back to our event field. We'll go back to the event field and put in this nice little search command to look for anything that contains the word failed, and then make a table. And that little table command, by the way, does what I was struggling to do earlier, and adds those fields in for us so that we can look at it easier. And so this is just kind of the same thing we looked at, but instead of looking at it in that bar chart area, we just have it right there. What's going on, Rhonda? Welcome. Yeah, today's a little bit of a long one if you haven't done it, by the way. I know Rhonda's been doing the Advent of Cyber as well. Now, of course, everybody who's following along at home probably has been doing every day as well. But today is a little bit of a commitment. It's fun, though. I love Splunk. I love searching through logs, so... Let's narrow down our results to see what other events are associated with the session ID that we found. They give us a pre-formatted command, and all we got to do is plug in that session ID of the malicious session ID, which is that RIJ session ID right there. We'll go ahead and copy it out. Now, there's alternative ways that you could do this. Make sure if you are doing... Make sure you are keeping those asterisks, by the way. Go ahead and hit the search bar. And we can see everything that has happened with this session ID. Okay, we see all of our failed logins. That is indicative of an attack, especially if it's all the same session ID hitting different accounts like Glitch, Marta, Byte. I would go so far as to say that this might be a password spraying attack. Okay. But it looks like we do get a successful login as Byte, who goes and watches the camera, downloads the recording, watches the camera, deletes the recording, watches the camera, downloads the recording again, and then deletes it, watches, and then logs out. Tyler Ramsey must have gotten his way in. Searching through logs, not to be confused with wading through logs. He's also very good at Splunk. I haven't had a chance to do it yet. Yeah, well, it's going to be a fun one. It took a little while to get to this point. We're 46 minutes in. About. Alright. Now let's look for anything with delete. That's what it wants us to do next. Anything containing the word delete, we have 2 events. It's just Byte, so that's the same thing we saw a little bit earlier. Sorry, they have something blurred right here that's not over here. I'm wondering what's going on. Is it because I have it as a table? What's the raw say? Ah, the recording IDs. We didn't have that field selected, so I wasn't seeing it. The only reason I was tipped off was because right here, there's data that we didn't have. I'm like, what are they blurring right there? Okay. And we can correlate that with web logs, but let's take a second to go to the bottom here. Because... we do have questions, and I want to make sure we answer them before moving on. Okay, that's the whoops. All right, give me a second to copy that session ID. Go ahead and hit submit. Extract all events from the CCTV logs. How many captured associated with successful logins? So honestly, quick and dirty, easy way to do that is to just put in successful right here between those asterisks, because remember, those are wildcards. We have 642 successfuls. Okay. Now, I don't think they walked us through that at all, but we have been using the commands, and we've been kind of seeing how we are looking for information using these commands. The reason I said it's quick and dirty is because there are fancier ways of doing it, but it gets the job done. Just put successful. We know we're looking for successful logins. Okay, correlating with the web logs. Where were we? Yeah, so instead of looking at the CCTV logs, we can go and look at the web apps logs by just using that same session ID we got earlier that I'm going to go ahead and copy from the questions. Well, I might actually have it still on my clipboard. Go ahead and paste it in. We do change it from CCTV pretty easily just by going and doing web underscore logs, it seems, is the name. It's, you can see from the suggested actions right here. Okay. Go ahead and hit that search bar. We have 41 events from that session ID. I want to go back to the table, please. Is that all the fields we have selected? Yeah, it is. Wow, interesting. Okay, so we have all of our interesting fields over here. We can see a little bit about what's going on, what we can break down. We have some of the time information, the host, which I kind of want to have selected. What is the host? Okay, so that's our CCTV server. Okay. We have some methods, which are going to be your get and posts. let's see. We can see what URLs they're hitting. Was that my front door? It was not. Okay. It was the song. I thought my doorbell was ringing. Okay, and let's see what we're gonna do. That's a pretty good forensics artifact. That client IP, we can see who we have. It's all from the same IP because it's all the same session, theoretically. Now, could they have changed their IP midway through and kept the same session? Absolutely. We'll go ahead and add that in there, even though we know it's all the same IP. Show results associated with the IP address found earlier, but it's important to note that in this case, details about the session IDs are found in the field status. Okay. They give us a new command here. It looks like 2 more session IDs were associated with that IP address found earlier. So how could we have found that ourselves? We can find that ourselves by copying that client IP right there. You can actually go ahead and hit add to search and then just remove this right here. And we can go down here. It said that status is the field that has those session IDs. So we have 83 from a blank one, 480 from this LSR session, and 20 from the B06 session. So that's how we would have found that. We know that that RI session is the one that actually went in and deleted the recordings as byte. And we can make a nice little table, basically just cleaning up our results with the provided command. Okay, and we can see what those sessions were doing, what they were accessing, what they were trying to do. Look closely and we can see logout events where session IDs were changed. Yep, that would be what's going on right here. You hit logout, goes to a blank session. Let's go back to the CCTV feed and use these session IDs associated with their IP address as shown below. So we know that these are potentially malicious session IDs from that IP address that we have went ahead and identified. And let's look for anything relating to that LSR session. And we can see it's mere malware. Who goes in and it looks like he's just doing a lot of logging in and logging out and watching cameras. Does he do anything else that's interesting? Event. Nope, just logging in, watching cameras, logging out. So mere malware was on that session from that IP address. We know that this is mere malware's IP address now. And we can assume that it was mere malware. And we know from the previous days, he's been trying to do anything he can to ruin Sockmas. From the output, it seems the following was the timeline of the attack. The brute force, the attacker brute forces various accounts. There was a successful login on Byte's account. The attacker watched some of the camera streams. They downloaded a few of them and deleted CCTV footage. We went to the web logs and we used the session ID of Byte who deleted the logs and found an IP address. Then after that, we went ahead and correlated that IP address to 2 other session IDs. And then we went back to our CCTV logs and found that it was mere malware on that session that was associated with the IP address that deleted the logs. So we can go ahead and type in, I think it was just malware, right? Was that it? Let's go back to our Splunk instance. Yep, just malware. And that will wrap up today. Woo. A little bit of a marathon right there, but a great exercise. I think this is probably one of my favorite days so far. Definitely a longer day. Definitely a longer day. Let's pivot over. So, we can review what we talked about a little bit. We used Splunk a little bit. Splunk is a SIM. We used Elk the other day. It is probably one of the main alternatives to Elk is Splunk. We went ahead and we practiced some threat hunting, practiced some log investigation by going through the logs and figuring out what exactly happened. We had some imported logs that were not formatted correctly for Splunk. Splunk did not like the way they were formatted, so we had to create some custom fields. We explored how it could possibly go wrong the first time. If you remember when we just did the easy click and highlight, which does work sometimes. And then we had some regular expression that we used, also known as regex, where we went and made our own custom fields using all of those special little filters that we had pre-written for us. And then we correlated what happened by investigating the two different sets of logs. Very, very great exercise. I did recommend this a little bit earlier. I'm going to go ahead and pull it up, actually. See if I can pull up Geoff Tyler's regular expression course. Oh, it's Tyre, not Tyler. Whoops. So if you see over here, Geoff, he works over at Black Hills. He has a regular expression course. This is pretty good. I have a lot of people who have recommended it to me. I do have access to it, thankfully. It's only $105, which is on the cheaper side for training, and they actually go on sale fairly often, if I remember correctly. And if you look at their Black Friday and Christmas sales, they usually have access to like some big deal where you can get access to like every course they have. That's pretty valuable. All right, so Geoff for some regular expressions. Of course, there's always you can always use handy dandy AI to help write regular expression. You just have to be very specific with what you want it to do. And then for Splunk training, Splunk has official training. Some of it's free. And then of course TryHackMe. TryHackMe has Splunk data manipulation room that they showed earlier, and plenty of other rooms. There's plenty of Splunk content, and I will probably be uploading some videos on it here soon because Splunk is very handy. If you're ever in a SOC position, knowing Elk, knowing Splunk, knowing how to correlate information, all very, very, very useful skills. And it does actually involve quite a few soft skills of knowing how to correlate information, knowing how to handle that threat hunting. What does malicious look like? And that's kind of what we talked about today, is we can see that just because it looks like someone did something, if you dig a little bit deeper, you may be able to figure out that it was not them, and in fact, it was somebody spoofing them, pretending to be them, whatever it may be. So, thank you all so much for joining. I will see you all tomorrow for day 18.